When I was young, while living in an old Victorian manor in London, England, we just moved into the old house. It had a sense of loneliness and a strange feel like something else was there. My parents didn't seem too bothered by the odd feeling of the house, but just said instead, "It's an old house, Emily. It's nothing to be afraid of. My name is Emily, to be fact, and I'm 10 years old." Now when I was very little, about 6 years old I would say, I was always afraid of monsters under my bed or hiding in my wardrobe, mostly involving around the boogeyman thing. I would be so afraid to sleep in the dark, fearing that the monsters would eat me as I sleep. As always, my parents would comfort me and tell me that monsters are not real and nothing of that sort would harm me. In ways to calm my fears, my mom would read me a bedtime story in which helped prevent me from having any more nightmares or from my fears to ever rise again. As time went by, I grew less afraid of the boogeyman and the monsters. Nothing did ever hurt me at all. Though I try to be brave around my parents, I still have fears of scary things lingering in the dark. Storybooks are the only thing that kept me calm all those years ago. I do enjoy reading books a lot. Everything in my life so far has remained calm. Of course, till we moved to the old manor in the outskirts of London. Those uncomfortable feelings of my childhood fears came back to me again. I never felt this kind of feeling before, the kind of feeling of not being alone, like someone or something is lingering around in the shadows. It all started one early evening while I was exploring the library for a new book to read myself to sleep. It was peaceful. I was searching until I heard something falling. I saw a book that fell off the case near me. More like flew off the shelf. I nearly jumped a foot. I looked down to the floor. A red book laid face down. I picked it up. It was a storybook. It was very old, but somewhat seemed brand new. It has a black picture of a strange-looking gentleman wearing a top hat. It has a strange body shape, messy hair, and long finger-like claws. The title read, Mr. Babadook. I laughed a little, though the name was kind of funny at first. I explored more of the cover. There's no other name. How weird. Which leads me to a mystery of who really made this book. I didn't read the book till it was bedtime. I opened the book to the first page. There was a scribble message rhymed a warning. Don't read this book, or what will come is the Babadook. I didn't think of anything as threatening at first. So I continued reading, looking at the interesting sketchy drawings that are stylish, but yet creepy. The book is a pop-up book, interactive and strange rhymes that grew more creepier as the story goes on. If it's in a word or in a look, you can get rid of the Babadook. If you're really a clever one, you know what it is to see. Then you can make friends with a special one, a friend of you and me. His name is Mr. Babadook, and this is his book. A rumbling sound, then 3 sharp knocks. Ba, ba, Duke, Duke, Duke. Then you know he's around. You'll see him if you look. This is what he wears on top. Funny, don't you think? See him in your room at night and you won't sleep a wink. I'll soon take off my funny disguise. Take heed of what you read. Once you see what's underneath, you're gonna wish you were dead. I nearly panicked as I slammed the book closed. I knew this was no happy children's book. It was the kind of book that would scare you in your dreams. More like give you nightmares. I didn't like the book one bit, so I threw it in my wardrobe. I didn't dare to tell my parents about it, or even read it ever again. I tried sleeping that night, but I lay in my bed, eyes open, staring at the ceiling for nearly 3 hours. I tried to sleep, but the book scared me so much that I was afraid to sleep. I was trembling a little as I stayed awake in bed. The night was quiet. My parents were sleeping soundly and peacefully in their master bedroom, just down the hall where my bedroom is. Around midnight, my eyes finally got heavy enough to close. I can finally sleep, but before I can dream I hear a noise. The sound of something rumbling on the floor, just outside the hallway. It stopped for a while, then it happened again, but this time near my door. I thought it could be the house creaking, but it didn't sound like creaking at all. I began to shake a little, then I heard 3 sharp knocks on my door. My eyes grew wide. I instantly thought of the book. What did it say again? A rumbling sound and 3 sharp knocks. I shook my head. No, how can this be? He can't be real. He's just a storybook character, I thought to myself. Then my heart just dropped as my bedroom door slowly creaked open, ever so slightly enough for some person to sneak through the opening. You don't know the half of it. I was staring at the door for nearly 15 seconds before a dark figure came through the doorway into the shadows. I squealed in fear as I pulled my bed covers over my head. Then I look again with the blanket over my nose. I look at the wardrobe on the other side of my bedroom. It's too creaky to open. Both doors wide open. My heart was pounding faster. Sweat overwhelmed me as I saw a tall, dark, shadowy figure wearing a top hat, a flowing cape, messy black hair, and long claws. It glides towards the end of my bed in a scary and supernatural way. I can hear it growling as well. I shriek in fright, pulling the cover over me again, breathing hard, sweat nearly drowning me. My hands trembling so much that it made it hard for me to grip my blanket. I was afraid to peek over my blanket. I kept saying to myself, this isn't real. I'm dreaming. This can't be real. Am I having a nightmare because of the book? But I can still hear the creature gurgling and hissing. Then I heard a noise of something skittling like a bug would make as it moves, but a lot quicker than normal. I managed to regain my courage and peek over the covers. The dark figure was no longer at the foot of my bed, but the horrible red pop-up book now rests at my bed frame. But that wasn't all that scared me. I looked at the ceiling again. And now the creature skittled across my ceiling so quick, so haunting in a supernatural way, nightmarish almost. Like a beetle in hyperspeed. At the moment, I was so terrified I couldn't move, I couldn't speak or utter a sound. I kept staring as the black creature is now over me. Its body crackled as it moved. It popped a long, shiny claw, then flipped over to its front. His face was still hidden in the shadow. I was very terrified. I didn't know what it would do next. The next thing I heard is the sound that will haunt me and scare me for the rest of my life. The creature spoke only one word in a hissing sound, raspy deep voice. Babadook, Duke, Duke. It happened so fast, I thought that my life flashed before my eyes. The creature dropped down upon me, his claws stretched out towards me. I saw his white, cold, staring eyes into my soul. His wide, toothy smile, so nightmarish and grim, his face white as death, his hissing roar was enough to make me scream bloody murder. I screamed so long, so many times. Now the Babadook haunts me. I should have heeded the warning on that first rhyme. Now I regret that curse. I was scared, cursed. I was never the same since that awful, terrifying night. I thought the boogeyman or even the monsters weren't real. Well, now the Babadook haunts me every night and day. The Babadook made me believe in monsters again. I live in terror of his frightening night visits. I tried telling my parents about the events, but my parents never believed in me and thought it was me, just as always. Though it was nothing more than just a bad dream. It was never a dream. I wasn't even sleeping when this happened. What my mom and dad said, whatever. The Babadook is real, and I can never get rid of him. I'm helpless against his will. He has me in the grip of his claws. I was warned, but never listened, so heed the warning when you find Mr. Babadook's cursed book. Don't read the book, or what will come is the Babadook.